Alright, we're going to be playing Seto for a few minutes in Clan League, so just wanted to look at hands and whatnot. The rule set is Avalanche's rule set. Level 7, 8 must use 2 level 7s, no card with a 9 on it. And as I recall, the 6884 is just like pretty clearly the most powerful thing available. There's some other 886 corners. Let's see if we can find them. 8873, probably not as good as 886 type stuff because you want to be hitting opposing 8s rather than opposing 9s. Because obviously there are no 9s, so like these 2878 type things I don't think are very appealing. I forget where the cards are, which is why I wanted to put the hand together in advance. 6883. There's a case for 6883 over 6882. Because hitting 8s in the back is worth something for sure, but hitting 7s is value. But I think 8s has got to be better if it's all 8-8 corners. And also this is, of course, this 6883, the sword, is redundant with the... Is it redundant? I forget actually which directions the 6884 is. I think it's the same directions. We'll see in a moment. Yeah, 8826, that looks pretty great. Let's scroll down to where we were. What else do we got? I'd make the window size a little bigger. That 6848 is pretty appealing. There's also another 886 corner, I believe. But I didn't see it this run. Ah, there you are. And while this is illegal for the moment, I'm going to click 6848 as well. So I want to take a peek. So I'm definitely taking 6884. The question is, do I want 6848? Now the other two are kind of opposites. If one of those was opposite the 6884, I'd probably feel pretty comfortable using the two opposites and then the 6848. As is, I'm not so sure. If I was only going to keep one, maybe I'd keep the 6288, because you could always imagine like the 6288 landing in 2 and the 6884 playing well off it. And, you know, if I have the 8826, I really have a left weakness, while if I have the 6288, the up weakness, not so bad. So yeah, let's try cutting the 8826 and keeping 6848. Now we need 2 level 7s. We have the option of 8-8 corners. We have the option... It's interesting cards. Like 1868 is kind of interesting. The opposite of this 6818. I think that's a Dragonlance card. Yeah, this guy. Kind of interesting pairing with 6848. Probably not so good because they don't actually do that much together. They cover space, but only side to side. It's hard for them to connect the other way. Probably not. Directionally, I'd probably like at least one corner for the bottom row. Now, all the 8-8 corners are going to be, you know, like 8-8-4s or 8-8-5-3s. I forget what I used before. Should probably check that. I do have that in the file. Clan League. What have Avalanche people used? 8646s. That's very logical. Let's throw in Gefgarian. Yeah, let's throw in Gefgarian. I think I used a 6468 and 6864. I used the side-to-side ones rather than the up-downs. But if I'm starting with 6884 and 6288, I think the up-downs are going to make a little more sense. So I could conclude the hand with 4686. But I would have very redundant numbers. So right now I have 8s and 4s going down for net power of 24. I have 8, 6, and 2 going right for net power of 24. I have 8, 8, 6, 4 going left for net power of 26. And I have 8, 6, 6, 6 going up for net power of 26. So weirdly, despite starting with the 6884, down right is the relative weakness, but it would be weird to have another card aimed there. 4686 kind of seems a natural conclusion. I'm very redundant in some directions. and that might be punishable. So we're going to put that card in and then take a peek and see how it looks. What deck is 4686? DQ. I'm not loving the 6A48's fit anymore. Yeah, I think I'm going to end up with the hand I used for the first one, which I think, though maybe I'm switching. I guess I'm switching from side to side to up down. But my last card was this one. I think this was basically what I used, except I went 6864 instead of 8646. Does this make more or less sense with the hand? It would give me more 6s up. That would actually give me more redundancy. Now I have at least a 4 going up, which is, a bad number, but it gives something different in case they have 8s and 6s really well covered. Like, because you can imagine my hand just dying to his 6884 on the left-hand side, and 4686 at least gives me something I can have out-facing that isn't just dead to 6884 and 1. To the left and right, do I have at least 3 numbers both ways? I do. Going down, I also have 3 different numbers. So I think doing this instead of 686, the sideways 6864s, the ones with the 8s facing sideways, is probably going to be a little more varied and a little less susceptible to just, when he has the same hand, dying immediately. So okay, we're going to save that hand, and I guess that's what I'll use. I was following Tezuka versus Villalba. I think this is for this week's chat tournament, though not entirely sure. A little bit out of it in recent events. Level 6, 7. So it should be the chat tournament, but I thought 4 matchups had been played. No. It was that a bunch of games had been played, but a lot of them were on the same matchups. So I think that was the weekly open. Man, I'm glad I didn't play. It was all elemental. Good week to avoid for me. Yeah, it was. Okay. So that's Tezuka, 9-1 Villalba. For the records, don't need to put in the moves because I don't have a way to take games in that can handle elemental. So that's our rule set. Seto said he was going to be ready in about 15 minutes, about 15 minutes ago. So I figured this would be enough time to do a quick check on hands. I already put the game up. Sadly, there's nothing to watch here. So I guess let's talk about the current state of CL, though of course, whenever you're watching this, it will be much later. When the first half finished, Twin Moons had the lead. They got 3 wins and 1 tie. Avalanche was in second with 2 wins and 2 ties. Brotherhood of Seed was in third with 2 wins and 2 losses. FFF was in fourth with a win, a tie, and 2 losses. But it's been pretty clear that those top 3 teams were going to be the teams competing for the title. I thought it was going to be Brotherhood of Seed versus AVL coming in, but Twin Moons has had a really incredible performance. They've done fantastic. In the second half, Brotherhood of Seed, who were in third after the first half, have dominated. They are up 3-0 against T3 with 1 game to get played, but that of course can't swing the result. They have 2 wins and a tie against FFF, which also means they have won that matchup with a game to go. Against Twin Moons, Seto and Turds tied, but Villalba beat Acela to give Brotherhood of Seed the advantage. Talamar beat Akiyama to tie it up, but Midas beat Bren to get them that win too. So they've already won 3 matchups. No games have yet been played in the Brotherhood of Seed AVL matchup. And the matchups are Villalba versus Fusion Cloud, who will almost certainly, as of today, March 20th, be subbed out due to disappearing. Incidentally, the reason I got into Zodiac Braves was something came up in Fusion Cloud's life and he disappeared for a while. And there had been a tournament for who would be the final person in Zodiac Braves when someone left, and they always kept the membership of 1 for each Zodiac. So there was an open spot and they held a tournament for it. And I beat C17, I remember, and someone else, and made the finals where I was against Fusion Cloud, then Kazdan, and he disappeared and I ended up getting in. But I had always had a lot of trouble against him, so I, at the time, did not think I would have won that matchup. Though I don't think I was dead in the water or anything. Then we have Seto versus myself, which is the match you'll hopefully be seeing in a few minutes. We have Akiyama versus DJ, and we have Addy versus Delial. And so I think it's a pretty balanced matchup. I'm kind of hoping mine ends in a tie. Obviously, I'd like to win, but I think as long as I don't lose, we're in a pretty decent position to get some points out of it. But Brotherhood of Seed, of course, has been very, very good. Twin Moons have a lead against FFF, though it is not yet locked in. Actually, I think Scythe lost to Yevon this morning, so Twin Moons probably tied FFF. Well, you'll know in the future, you can look it up. Twin Moons lost to Brotherhood of Seed, as we talked about. Twin Moons beat T3, and the Twin Moons Avalanche matchup is still up in the air. There's been a tie, and there are 3 games left to play. So, Twin Moons has possibly suffered a tie and a loss this round, which means they have 3 matches not won. And depending how the AVL goes, they could land on a 4th matchup not won. Brotherhood of Seed is still only on 2 matchups not won. Avalanche coming in was on 2, and we haven't gotten many of our games played. We're currently even against T3. The only game played has been myself tying Wingus. We're currently even against FFF. No games have been played there. We're even against Twin Moons, and we're even against Brotherhood of Seed. No games played there either. So, in fact, only 2 Avalanche games have been played. I need to get my games done. I've done one of those 2, but I have 2 more to play. Piggyman played his, but we need Delial to play his 3. Fusion Cloud disappeared. We need DJ to play his 3. And Smokes has a game. So we'll see how it goes. Smokes has 2 games. Smokes was our MVP in the first half. And hopefully he can keep carrying that. Is anything else going on? But yeah, this was my FF Tactics hand. Just thinking about, I kind of like the synergy between Delita and Ramza. I just think the 5s and the A5 play off each other really nicely. The 9, face against each other, play off well. I think they have kind of nice synergy, and I was thinking, what else could you do with an FF Tactics only hand? Because I love FF Tactics. And A8-7-3s as a pair, paired cards are obviously a really powerful effect, especially once you reach level 10, because same wall makes it so much easier for them to combo off each other. It just guarantees they're going to have those 2 same wall possibilities with the 3 or the 8 lining up with the A's. But A8-7-3s are clunky. They just never quite do what I want them to do. I like that the 8-3s face in on that 5 and potentially have extra plus walls there. I don't like that it makes the hand even more up-down. After having Ramza, I'd like to have some side-to-side value. I'm really not sure how well they'll play. And finally, Cloud Eris. I think A7-7-4s are pretty good cards in general. I thought it would play well with, 3 10s in the hand being up and down. It has a 10 in a direction that the hand didn't already have covered. I kind of suspect that's the card you hold on to for late, because it sort of covers for a lot of the other cards. The 7's up and down it can play off, the 10's up and down it can play off. But it also, doesn't actually feel like it has that much synergy. The 4 doesn't really connect with the hand, and the 4 has trouble taking the many 5s to the right. And the 7s, it has to connect the right ways with the other card. So I'm really not sure. I think it's probably the best you can do looking at FF Tactics only, because there just aren't that many other tools. But if we go to View Cards, go to Decks FF Tactics, scroll to level 10s. A684 is just not going to be a very good fit with this start. 667A is a nice card and has some obvious synergy with Delita and would give a potential starter with Delita in 6, but might sort of overbalance my hand that way. Malik is a good card, but generally is going to do better the more A964s there are going around, and I don't have many. Rafa and Malik, not actually that great a pair. The 8 is a bit clunky and doesn't really have much to play off here. I guess it plays a little off these. I don't know. There are some A9 corners I didn't touch. You know, you could definitely start with like Delita and Orlando, maybe Alma. Not entirely where you should go from there. If you pick Melia Duel just to have a 4th corner, you have 4 corners, but they don't synergize. So I don't know. It seemed the way to go. I'm not sure what the starter is though. Let's see if there's anything to watch while we wait. Oh, well, there's going to be a game shortly. Let's take the game up for when Seto is ready. Piggyman has a tempting game out there, but we do not have time. And all right, sounds like he's ready. Wish him good luck. And little tense, little worried. Obviously, I always am for tournament games. I wonder if people feel more worried or less worried when it's like a one-off game. I tend to get more tense about one-off games if ties count, and I think I'm a big favorite. But if I'm okay with a tie, I sort of feel like I only have to survive one game. So here, one game seems, you know, manageable. So I guess we will stick with this hand. There's some clunkiness, but seems pretty powerful. I did have trouble with Wingus used 8-7-6-4s against me, and I got a very good position out of the opening and just blew the conversion. I've been doing that a lot. I didn't update my kind of the stats I was keeping on conversion stuff, but I have not been converting my good positions. I've been doing okay defending my bad ones, but I've had trouble converting my good ones. Delial had a really terrible random against me recently, and I saw an idea that applied decent pressure, but he found a nice tie, and I found a different nice tie for him. So there were 2 very findable ties there, but if I just played in there were 2 critical squares to play in. There were cards in 4, 7, and 8, and the critical squares were clearly 1 and 9. And he has gone pure dynamism. Interesting. Does he have all the 8-8s covered? 6-8-8-4 definitely is covered. 6-2-8-8 maybe not. 6-2-8-8 he'd have to at least set up against. He doesn't have innately covered either way. And 8-8-2-6 he also doesn't have innately covered. So we're going to be looking at our big corners because we are simpleton. 6-2-8-8 and 3. Can he set up both ways? 7-8-6-5 and 5 sets up in 2, but does not set up in 6. 6-5-8-7 sets up in 2 and sets up in 6. Okay, he does have the double setup there. That doesn't mean we've ruled this out, but we probably have ruled it out. What about 8-8-2-6 in 7? 7-8-6-5 in 5 does not set up in 4. 6-5-8-7 in 5 does not set up in 4. 4-7-6-7 in 5 sets up both ways. It gives 6-7-8-4 access both ways. Okay, so the big corners, I think, are pretty decently covered by his hand. Now, I do have 8s facing into the corners. So, for instance, if I played 6-2-8-8 and 3, what was the setup? You might have a second setup. Yeah, so he has 6-7-8-4 and 5 as well as 6-5-7-8. I don't think I can have everything covered there. So, looking at his hand, upwards 8, 7, 6, 6, 4. Rightwards 8, 7, 7, 5, 5. Leftwards 8, 7, 7, 5, 4. Downwards 8, 7, 6, 6, 6. So all pretty similar. Okay. All right, so if I go 8, 8, 2, 6, and 7, I probably force 4, 7, 6, 7 in 5. Do I have anything cute to do there? Don't think so. Don't think so. And it doesn't set up any of my cards to have the same effect. Kind of annoyingly, most of my 8-8 corners, if stuck in a corner where it's semi-strong, doesn't have something partially safe to his hand. But maybe I want to start with 6, 8, 8, 4 in either 3 or 7. Given 8 that he can't immediately handle, be potentially ready to lock it in, right? After 6, 8, 8, 4, and 3, I sort of threaten 6, 2, 8, 8, and 2. I don't know, though. His 7s to the left there seem pretty decent. Like, hard for my hand to handle. The 7s left and right are just going to be tough for my 8, 6, 4, 6s. So maybe I should be looking to use an 8, 6, 4, 6. So if I start with 8, 6, 4, 6, and 7, it's not very comfortable. If I start with 4, 6, 8, 6, and 3, I think we established he has to put something with a 5 to the right in 5 if he wants access from 5. I kind of like the directionality of my hand after that one. I think it faces the action pretty decently. But I'm not sure. These 8, 7, 6, 5s I'm having trouble working around. But I kind of think I want the 8, 6, 4, 6s out of my hand. I think they're kind of unlikely to play well here, right? With the sideways 7s, he has some sideways 8s, but not enough for them to play all that well. So this is for AVL Brotherhood of Seed, which is match day 10. And it is the AVL rule set. And it is Wazzup, Seto. I have started with 4, 6, 8, 6, and 3. A move designed to sort of do two things. One is to say, you don't currently have 6, and if I can follow up with 6, 2, 8, 8, and 2, that could be really good for me, right? Because I knew 6, 2, 8, 8, and 3 would be good if they didn't have a 5 setup, but 2 is similarly semi-safe. So I sort of threatened 2. So if he goes in the far corner, I have something comfortable to do next. And it was also something that gets a card out of my hand that I wasn't sure would play very well. And I have decent directional power facing it, right? My 6288 has a use, though it doesn't face it, and my other cards are at least all sort of connected to it. So that's the hope. Yeah. There's a lot of bullying attempts to get Seto to play Triad Wars. I will note the easy way to get him to play it is to have the next tournament be SE on. That will not be the next tournament. But, you know, you could imagine the SE being whatever Dalamar wants at the end of the year. Persona 5 is a good game. Persona 5 Strikers, what was it called? There was the spin-off game of it. It was free recently on PlayStation Plus, so I should play it sometime. But I sort of wanted to replay Persona 5 first, and then I forgot I was playing it, so I sort of zoned out of that, so I should probably just jump into the next one. Kind of weird plot-wise to have a sequel. Like, a lot of sequels find stuff to do, but sometimes it just kind of does, like, what if everything you achieved in the last one was undone? And you're like, wait up. I get that you're doing this to keep it thematically consistent, but this game I'm not yet sold on now kind of changes in a way I don't like a game I am sold on. So I always get skeptical when something that is supposed to be gone mysteriously comes back, because, you know, if that's the start of your plot of your first game, that's like often how plots start. But if it's the second game in a series and you've played the first one, it often kind of feels like it undermines it a bit. Not very important. We're just passing time, however, and trying to talk without getting into spoilers. Also, I might be totally wrong on what the plot of the spin-off is. I think Turds mentioned he liked it, but he sort of had to get past a bunch of the stuff it was doing to enjoy it. One thing I like here is if he plays something like 6, 7, 8, 4, and 2, not necessarily now, but at some point, and I play 8, 6, 4, 6, and 6, I do threaten the plus in 5. Well, if he starts with like 7, 8, 6, 5, if I play 8, 6, 4, 6, and 6, I also threaten a plus in 5, right? He will not be able to play something in 2, where if I go in 6, he can then play in 1, and I don't have stuff to attack. I will always have onboard pressure. 8, 7, 6, 5s are good cards, though. He has picked a much less clunky hand than me, much more like, here are cards where I have power and combinative ability in every direction. I do think sometimes those hands can get overpowered. They can look kind of nice early, but on the last few turns, maybe they just don't have the power to play something I can't just overpower. And so I'm happy to have first turn against his hand. I think, in general, against hands that surrender raw power for dynamism, the first second turn split grows in how big an advantage it is. And now maybe I've played a terrible starter, maybe my hand's not very good, but in general, I think getting first turn here should favor me a little more than it normally does. And hopefully I find a nice way to pressure. 4, 7, 6, 7, and 5 came up as an idea in a bunch of lines, so I think that is a very plausible move here. Could also go somewhere else, maybe 4. Maybe just 7. 7 is always a pretty common square. All right, does go in 5. Okay. Gives me a same in 2, but not a very useful one. But it means my 8, 6, 4, 6 is pretty decent in both 2 and 6. Now, one thing this does that's really nice for him is this was also the response I expected to 8, 8, 2, 6, and 7. So suddenly, and a good response, so suddenly 8, 8, 2, 6, and 7 is well covered despite him making a move not specifically designed to react to it. So that could be a problem for me. At this point, I'm not sure how much use 6288 can have. But his capture in 6 has to be with 8567. So could I play 6288 in 2? He goes in 6. Sorry, not 7, 6. 8567 in 6. I go 6884 in 1, but that's not safe to his hand at all, so that doesn't achieve very much. In general, I want the game to be more up, down than side to side, so I think I should look at 8 rather than 4. I think my main moves should be an 8, 4, or 7. My 8, 6, 4, 6 is pretty decent, though might not play that well in 6. I would like 6 blocked eventually. They do have combos in 2, but not particularly good ones, right? 6, 5, 7, 8, I have a chance to combo back. So I don't feel I need to block 6 immediately. So I'm thinking 7 or 8. 6288 is a card I probably want to get out of my hand. It's annoying to recapture for me, though, because 6884 and 4 doesn't really land well. Maybe 6288 in 8? But I think that just gives them 7. Yeah, I think that just gives them 7. That's quite annoying. It's just so hard for me to combo off the 7s. What about 6288 and 4? I know that wasn't a square I was saying I wanted to do. But 6288 and 4. That just gives them freedom to go in 1? Probably. Well, I'm not seeing much. So, probably gotta, think better. But I have a down issue now. A serious down issue. Because that 6, 7, 8, 4 stands over anything I'd want to go down. And I have a left issue. Potentially. Six, 2, 8, 8, and 8. Don't love it. Yuck. If I go 6, 2, 8, 8, and 4, I think the main move is 6, 7, 8, 4. Oh, it can go so many squares. I can't play there, can I? Right, if I go 8, 8, 2, 6, and 4. I think the main move is 6, 7, 8, 4, and 1, because I can't really touch it. No, that's really awkward for me. I go there. They go there. I think that... Maybe I survive there? What am I down? I think I end with 5 cards in the line I'm looking at. So... I don't love this at all. I think this is real awkward, but I have an idea. Is that going to put in the next two moves? My idea is anything in 1 that isn't 7-8-6-5 or 6-7-8-4, I can just go Gafgarian in 2, and I think that's okay. If they do play 7-8-6-5 in 4, I can play 6-8-8-4 in 2, and that seems very nice. So I think the main move is 6-7-8-4 in 1. Now, I have trouble taking it with 6-2-8-8 because they combo me really hard in 6. So my idea is to play 6-8-8-4 in 2. At this point, I'm up 6-4. If they go in 7, I can block 6 with Gafgarian. And 6-2-8-8 will take enough at the end because it's still 5-5. Because it can take anything in 7 from 8, and it can take anything in 8 from 9 except 7-8-6-5. I can also go 6-2-8-8 in 4. Yeah, in 6. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Because Gafgarian does sweep their remaining hand. We know 6-7-8-4 has to be out of their hand. And if they combo in 9, that's going to flip 5, and Gafgarian combos that back. So if there was any extra damage, which there isn't, but if there was, Gafgarian covers that pretty well. Yeah, and Gafgarian's guaranteed to take whatever they put in 7. So 7's not scary. More likely is they go in 6. Specifically, if they go in 6, they have to use 8-5-6-7 in 6. So the line is 6-7-8-4-1, 6-8-8-4-2, 8-5-6-7-6. At this point, they're up 7-3. The only card, I guess technically 6-4, but okay, they're up 6-4. My only cards are in 2 and 4. Those are pretty garbage. But I can play 6-2-8-8 in 9. I take 8-5-6-7. I make it 5-5. And they do not. Yeah. So my cards in that line are 2, 4, 6, and 9. And Gafgarian sweeps the bottom row because I've gotten both sideways 7s out of their hands. Yeah. So my goal here is get the sideways 7s out of their hands. And I think if that works, if they don't have the sideways 7s, I'm in decent shape. And also playing off the fact that if they play 8, 5, 6, 7, and 6 at some point, I have a nice way to recapture in 9. So that's my idea. Is it any good? I think we're very likely to find out. I guess one other idea is if they go... Oh, they did flip 4. Sorry, 6, 7, 8, 4, and 1 obviously flips 4. So I'll be down 7-3, but Gafgarian has the flips at the end. And if 6, 7, 8, 4 in 1, I also have the option of going in 7. I guess it would have to be with Gafgarian, which is pretty awkward. And they can take with 6, 5, 7, 8 without giving up their card for 6. If it forced them to take with 8, 5, 6, 7, it might be an interesting option. But I don't think it is. It's really hard for me to play off the 7s. I think my hand is a little clunky. This is, I think, the last game I have to play on the rule set, but I think I should have learned from the Wingus game. I just have difficulty dealing with 7s. I just can't set up against them, right? Like, if I could meet one with a move in 9, that would be really nice, but I never have a serious threat in 6. So they just go in 2, and I'm just unhappy there. They can also start in 7. Maybe they can start in 6 as well. I'm not afraid of them starting in 9, though maybe I should be, but I don't think so. I think I can find a way to safely occupy 6. Get that T structure. Yeah. Actually, probably just Gafgarian in 6, depending on how it goes. But, maybe 9 is tricky, actually. So I'm assuming 6, 7, 8, 4, and 1, though. My idea was I thought I had a tie in 2. But obviously 4 was like, I am worried and don't see any way to apply pressure bailout kind of option. Which is not really the space you want to be in on first turn. When I said I thought against this type of hand, first turn should be a slightly bigger advantage than usual, right? And second turn should be slightly worse against his hand type than usual. But he got to play a card in 5 that he had a lot of synergy with and I didn't. And that immediately made the game, I think, quite difficult for me. I think he was successful at dominating with the synergy. He puts 6, 7, 8, 4 back down. I'm still expecting to see 6, 7, 8, 4, and 1. As stated, I don't really like my position. I'm just looking to find a tie somewhere. But I don't think I'm lost. I would be surprised if I'm lost. And if I'm not lost, I should be able to find a tie. Picks up a different card. All right, that's scary. He does go 9. Ah, that is scary. So my issue here in my thinking on this was, if I'm going into a T, I don't want 6, 2, 8, 8 in my hand, but 6, 2, 8, 8 is hard to play in 6. Now if we go 6, 2, 8, 8, and 6, it's interesting that, and they go 6, 5, 7, 8, and 2. They capture everything but the card in 4. So they're going to be up 7, 3. I play 6, 8, 8, 4, say, in 1. That makes it 5, 5, because I flip 2 and 5. They go 8, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I lose. Is that right? Yes. Ah, those damn sideways 7s. If I start with 8, 6, 4, 6, I'm left with 6, 2, 8, 8. I think I have to find a use for 6, 2, 8, 8. And a use for 8, 6, 4, 6. 6, 8, 8, 4 is going to be my key card here. Oh, this is scary. This is very scary. Is there any chance I could start with 6, 2, 8, 8, and 2? It's this lunacy. Six, 2, 8, 8, and 2. If they go 1, they cannot take 2 from 1. And I go 6 with Gafgarian. They go 6, 7, 5, 7, 8, and 8 at the end. They go 6, 7, 8, 4, and 1. Oh no. Can I force a combo of something they don't want? I don't think so. this is very scary. So 6, 2, 8, 8, and 6. I think I lose to 6, 5, 7, 8, and 2. 8, 6, 4, 6, and 6. I think... What's the problem there? I mean, the problem is I have 6, 2, 8, 8 in my hand, right? So can I find a way to get 6, 2, 8, 8 out of my hand non-disastrously? I could go an 8. 6, 2, 8, 8, and 8. It's safe at least. It covers a square they have a lot better than I do. If they go in 6 in reply, I think I can just play 7. 6, 2, 8, 8, 6. 8. They go 6. I play 8, 6, 4, 6 in 7. I'm guaranteed to have 7. I'm guaranteed to have 8. And I'm guaranteed to have 3 other cards because 6, 8, 8, 4 will necessarily have 2 things it touches and takes in 1 and 2. So if I go 6, 2, 8, 8, and 8, and they go 6, I'm okay. If they go 9, I cannot take 6, but I think I can play 8, 6, 4, 6 in 6 because their only combo in 2, I combo back. I might lose to 1 there. I think I lose 6, 4 to 1. All right. Close. Now I kind of think I'm lost. No, I don't lose to 1 because they have to flip 1 when they go in 7. Yeah. They go in 7. They have to flip 1. I can go in 6. All right. That's all I got. So my idea is if they go in 6, I go in 7. I know I have 7, 8 locked in, and 6, 8, 8, 4 is going to get me at least 2 other cards. If it goes in 2, it's going to get me 3 and 5. If it goes in 1, it's going to get me 2 and 4. It's going to get me a tie. If they start in 7, they have to flip 4. I will have the card in 8. I can then play 8, 6, 4, 6 in 6. And either I play 6, 8, 8, 4 in 2, in which case I will have 2, I will have 3, I will have 5, I will have 6, and I will have 8. Or I will play 6, 8, 8, 4 in 1, which will combo the card in 4, which means I will also get back 5 and get back 6 if needed, and it will capture 2. So I'm okay against 6 and 7. Against 1, I might have an issue. We have not ruled out 1 or 2, but I didn't think I had time. I did have a minute left. I should have spent longer, but I wouldn't have been able to check another move anyway in that much time if it didn't work out. So I think I have to be okay with this. If they go in 2, I play Gafgarian in 6. I will have the cards in 3 and 6. I will have 8. I will have 6, 8, 8, 4, and I will be able to take at least 4. So I'll have a tie there. So I think the only scary thing is 1. Can they kill me in 1? Maybe. Maybe. But which card to put there? Because if they put something Gafgarian can take, then I put Gafgarian in 2. And even though they can combo in 6 or whatever, I will have 2, I will have 1, I will have 4, I will have 7, and I will have 8. That's 5 cards. So the only move in 1 that's all that scary has to be 6, 7, 8, 4. And that combos 4 doesn't really matter. But I think it means I can just play either card in 7. I will definitely have 4, 7, and 8. And Gafgarian is guaranteed to capture or hold at least one thing at the end. So I think this is a tie. I think we've snuck out of this one. But obviously I got pretty badly outplayed here. And it is possible I am incorrect about the holding of a tie. But the move in 5 was very good, and the move in 9 was very good. I think I had a much easier tie against 1, and I sort of, at the end of my analysis, got a bit worried about 9, and then thought that won't happen, he's going to play 1, and then he did play 9. He's very good. Very good. And one of those times when the more synergistic hand really looked good against the clunky, powerful hand. I was not able to turn the game into an overpowering fest. And that's kind of what I wanted against the line in 1, is if he goes in 1, I can just go in 2 and know that I have these big, powerful things that sweep at the end. We have this sort of block where all my cards are facing the block with maximum-ish power, and I'm going to have those endgame captures. And so I was sort of, against the move in 1, where of course he wasn't losing or anything, but I do think it was a tie, I could do what my hand wanted to do against his hand. And he found a really nice way in 9 to stop that. And I think I have survived. I really think I've survived. It is very critical that he can't play in 7 without flipping 4. But yeah, as said, this was a really poor game for me. Not in that, like, you know, a tie is a good result for me, like a perfectly good result for me against Seto. I'm not in any way complaining about that, presuming I get the tie. But this is obviously not the way you want to do it. You want to be the one applying pressure. And while I think I have escaped, I'm still not 100% sure, and it is scary. But against 1, I go 7. Against 2, I go 6. Against 6, I go 7. Against 7, I go 6. Could be very interesting to check this one with the solver after. Because, I'm curious. I've noticed a bunch of times recently, I've thought, against strong players, like against, Delegal, I've thought, like, this is a position where I have very few paths that feel at all potentially safe. And then the solver is like, a third of your moves tied. You had lots of paths to a tie. And I wonder if that's happening here, and I just misevaluated. But this looked really scary. There was probably something in 1 or 7 I didn't find last turn. I was having trouble seeing possibilities there, just because it's so easy for them to take it, and it leaves sort of these diagonal squares in 2 and 6 still open that I don't really want open. But I checked 6, 2, 8, 8, and 8 because it created safety, and I think it was a good move. I think I've survived. A lot of icons over here. I don't think quite so many on mine, but especially because less clan stuff. Yeah, quite a bit fewer. World Cup finalist. That always struck me as a weird icon to have. I'll take it. I really wish there was a Rhinoa loser icon. Someone made that, and I had that in my avatar, or my signature on the forums for a while, but I really enjoyed that one, and I wish that was an icon anyone who lost there could get. Alright, 8, 5, 6, 7 goes in 6. My game plan was 8, 6, 4, 6 in 7. I don't see a reason to rearrange that. If they go 6, 7, 8, 4, and 1, they go up 7, 3, but I have 2 captures. If they go in 2, I can flip them. Is there any point to starting in 2? I go up 6, 4. That also looks... No, that's worse because they combo in 1. Yeah. No reason to do anything crazy here. 8, 6, 4, 6, and 7, and we call that a lucky escape. As I said, I didn't think 4 was bad enough to lose, but it felt like this is a move that just about keeps the game going, but no more, and I'm going to have to find a tie next turn. Which way is he going to do it? 1 or 2, both are ties. Different players obviously have like different instincts of how to play this. He goes 2, the one protecting his cards. And all right, pretty lucky to survive this one. We'll check with the solver in a moment after I've said GG and whatnot. And we'll send Clan Creek, tie for Seto, move order 3, 5, 4, 9, 8, 6, 7, 2, 1. And yeah, let's bring up the solver on this one. Gotta find the file. Solver. Blue hand, red hand. Never did set it so you could choose which would be first turn on the solver. Red hand, always first turn. Alright. His hand, 4, 7, 6, 7, 7, 8, 6, 5, 8, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8, 4, 6, 8, 8, 4. No, he didn't have 6, 8, 8, 4. 6, 5, 7, 8. That was the kind of card I used. 4, 6, 8, 6, 8, 6, 4, 6, 8, 8, 2, 6, 6, 2, 8, 8, 6, 8, 8, 4. Alright, we're opening it. I'll flip you over. When it opens, alright, so I went here, and this didn't go great. The solver will take a bit to say what it thinks of that move, but early returns suggest not too highly. Now, it seems like this wasn't as scary as I thought. 16 moves tie, 12 moves lose. So how about the one I made? Ah, survived, okay. And if you went 6, 7, 8, 4, are you seeing it right then? Gotta check, okay. If you went 6, 7, 8, 4, and 1, I had 1 tie, and it was 6, 8, 8, 4, and 2. Okay, so I did find the key tying line there. That's really good to know. Instead, he went 7, 8, 6, 5, and 9. I had 4 ties. Ah, but 3 of them were in 8, and 1 of them was in 2. So any card in 8 actually ties here. That's very interesting. Even this one? I guess it's relevant that I flip 7. But, or 9, but why? I just, like, assumed this was terrible. Like, if he goes here... Ah, I forced the flip of 4. Ah, so that... Okay. Oh, that's a miracle. Did not see that at all. But okay, we did find a tying line. and just about snuck out. Is this the tie-in 2? No. What's the tie-in 2? Probably safety, right? Nope. Tie-in 2 was this. Alright, did not consider that either. Could explore that further. Very interesting. Alright. It thinks my starter was alright. And did find this time. Alright, so how does this one work? See, I assumed lines like this were losing, right? So I must have a save here. Saves this one, just captures. And this only takes 1, yeah. Alright, alright. Did not, I could also start here. Or would I go this case? Probably 1, maybe 8. Here. This is just enough. Yeah, and we got the 8, 5, 6, 7 out of the hand, which was a useful card to get out. So maybe they should do it this way. So they still have the 8, 5, 6, 7 to threaten in 8. It's probably scarier. Then I don't think I have 1. So I probably have to go 8. So if I go 1, they just block. I have to go 8. Wildly, I have the combo on both sides of 4. Otherwise, this would beat me, but just about have it. Okay, I did not see this. That's very interesting. Going back a step, so apparently a lot of moves were tying here. It didn't hate my starter. Let's just sort of briefly go through them and think about a bit of the logic of each. It says this is a tie. This gives up 6. But maybe it's okay to give up 6. Like, if you're going to give up 1 of 2 or 6, when you go in 4, you want to give up 6. And when you go in 8, you want to give up 2, right? Because we don't give up 2, right? And if they want to punish us giving up 6, they have to take the card in 3. The only square they can do that from is 2. Therefore, they'd have to go in 2 and flip it. But we have 2 well covered. So if you're going to give up 1, so I would assume 8, 6, 4, 6, and 8 is not a tie. And indeed it is not, right? Because this gives up 2, and well, it's hard for them to go in 6. All right, the wins are just to go in 2. Yeah, I guess it's really hard for me to go in 1. Oh, sorry, I've given up 6, right? So of course they go in 2, obviously. That's the full, yeah, sorry, I'm making no sense. I've given up 6, so they go in 2. That's the problem here, yeah. This gives up 6, but it's hard for them to go in 2. Yeah, all right, so this was all making sense. I went here and just about tied. If we go here, all right, that also tied. What did I think the problem was here? I thought the problem was 6, 7, 8, 4 means I can't put anything in 4 because it gets comboed horribly, and I've given up kind of left power, right? And I was sort of thinking something like, say he goes here, if I take it, I get comboed to hell, and even though I can take this, it doesn't matter because I'm comboed back really hard. So I thought something like this was a problem. All right, I was intending to go 9, but I wasn't sure it was good enough. 9 is apparently where I should be going. But I thought with that vulnerable and with them still covering things, and with me not having amazing things for 2 or 6, this looked scary to me. I didn't like evaluate it to the end or anything, but it looked scary. This was another move that looked really scary to me. Apparently lots of ties. Again, 9 is probably where I want to be. There's also a couple moves in 2. Okay, so the formational answers there were fine. So that one was okay either way. What about 7? I also considered 7. All right, this one loses. Yeah, this gives up 6. They go in 2. That makes a lot of sense. This one, I just thought they've set up so well for 6, 7, 8, 4. This must be kind of terrible. Apparently it does tie, but I think he'd have his choices of how to apply pressure here. This one, I didn't like. I thought because I had the problem of I can't go in 4, so I thought he'd go in 8 here. Apparently he does have a win. It isn't an 8, it's in 1. Apparently this wins. Okay, I have trouble seeing on the slash moves when there's going to be a really good move in a corner. And this move seems kind of dangerous to me because it gives this up. But I guess it doesn't give here, and that's pretty important. And this card's so bad in all the other squares that kind of, if it is one square, it's really good. Unless it can go there immediately, it's probably going to play out really badly. And here it can't really go there immediately. So, okay, that makes some sense. I need to get better at seeing those moves. I used to be better at them, and I played a good one against Midas in the Nephilim finals, but I was seeing them a little better then. But I need to, they're kind of a move I see when I'm playing a lot and playing well, but not a move I see as well when I'm not. So it's when my intuition is good, it's the kind of move I find better. But when my intuition isn't as good, I need to rely on kind of my rules and the logic rather than the intuition. And my logic isn't very strong for why 1 or 9 here would be very good. And so I need to get better at the logic of those so that even if my intuition isn't coming through, I still have tools to find good moves. I think that's really important. So I thought that was bad. This didn't make sense to me, but let's see what happens. This also loses. Yeah, doesn't make any sense. Moves in 8. I think we already checked this one, and it's okay. This one, I thought the problem was it 7 again? Or was it 9 here? Could be either, to be honest. Like, what do I do after this? I don't know. Apparently this ties as well. I thought this is a card I definitely want to hold on to if I'm playing an 8, because its rightward power is really good, and indeed this loses. I also thought it didn't make much sense to block 2, but apparently I just about do survive here. Yeah, but there's one move to survive. Okay, not the hardest move to find. And how do we finish this one? I guess 8, 8, 2, 6, and 1? Is that the move? Ah, that's a win. Sweet. Alright, well this could have been a surprising turnaround. I'm sure he would have seen this and not gone an 8, but that actually wins because I have the cards beautifully covered. So you actually can't go an 8 there. I didn't see this idea. This would have actually been a way to apply pressure. Now, sure, okay, this isn't the hardest move in the world to find, but maybe just blocking one of the squares. I do look at those moves, but I tend to need to see the clear path, right? I need to see, now I can play this safely. And I saw this wasn't safe, so it looked dangerous to me. And in fact, you know, after a move like this, if I don't have this move, I'm actually losing here. So I would have needed to see significantly further. And I think it's really hard to see this line from this position, especially if you don't know that this is like a critical move to check. It's fine. Overall, actually, at this point, I'm kind of okay with how I played this. It is looking to me like all the options give a straightforward path for him, right? Each one of these is, I was worried about something, and it turns out some of them lose, some of them don't lose, but all of them are, I have to see kind of a specific idea, or I can enter a formation where he's going to have more access to ways to pressure than I am. And I'm not seeing anywhere it's like he has to follow that narrow path. The only narrow path I think is the only narrow path we've found here is this one, but he just has to find 1 instead of 8, and that's one of the main moves you check. So that's not that narrow a path. And I haven't spotted a narrower path. It's also considering something like this, just walking into combos intending to take back, likely with this, but again, didn't see what this got me. Again, I'm not lost, but I'm not the one putting pressure in. I'm gonna have the AI say what it would play, though it doesn't usually find the best pressure move, it just will find something that doesn't lose, but I'm curious what it says, and we'll play out a game against whatever line it says, and see if it is something interesting. All right, it wants me to go in 2. Okay, what next? Goes there. Now, I know there's a trick if I take it. There's a problem if I take it. But is there really this time? I don't think so. Oh, there still is. I didn't think there was because I was like, 6 plus 4 doesn't equal 6 plus 7, but it does equal 8 plus 2. So, okay, can't go there, so probably have to go 1. Alright, let's calculate it out. This loses to 8, 8, 2, 6, and 1. This, if they double capture in 4, I'm down 6 to 4. And I can play 6, 7, 8, 4 in 7. So I think this is my path to a tie. Okay, I had to be a little more careful, but not too much. Basically the same. But maybe 2 was the answer. Maybe I just had to say 2 and 6 are just much better squares for you. The longer I leave them open, the bigger problem it is. I'm just going to block it. You don't have, safety here. Anything you do here, I at least have access. Here, I should probably just combo. Does the combo win? The combo wins. Here, probably still a tie. Probably something like... No, this doesn't work. I walk into too much. Do I have to block 6? Probably have to block 6. Yeah. Alright. And probably the main line's here. And I still need to find a good move at the end. But this should be good enough. Yeah. So I think in conclusion, maybe my starter just wasn't good. The solver actually kind of likes it, but it looks like after his reply, I am definitely the person under pressure, whatever the path is. And maybe the most comfortable thing to do is just block the square. Not care about not having particular stuff. As long as he doesn't have 1 safely, it's probably okay. And if he goes in 6, I have ways to attack that. Yeah. And just get rid of the bad squares. I played this. And I'm really glad I saw this line. This was the line that justified it. Specifically, I saw this was a tie. And then at the end, I realized maybe you can do something 9. Didn't see the exact move. Very nice move. Sort of panicked. Found safety in 8. Apparently other moves in 8 worked, but like... Am I going to find this move? I don't think so. Just looks so weak to everything. So did the one that was safety, the human version. And forget how the game ended. Something like this. Alright, hope you enjoyed. Good game. Well played.